our family is fortunate that we have a place, just a seasonal place on Lake Neshonoc in Wisconsin. And it's really our happy place for our family. But one of the things that I shouldn't admit, because it's kind of evil, but one thing that we do on Friday evenings frequently is join our friends on their deck and watch people coming in for the weekend set up camp, because it's highly entertaining. I mean, these poor folks are only doing this a few times a summer, so they're either trying to back in a camper and it takes 12 times, or they're setting up a tent and this takes, until dark. And so we do get a few chuckles off of this. But one weekend it was very interesting in that we were sitting there watching, and this minivan with Illinois license plates rolls into this spot, and we're looking down so we can see everything transpire, and the doors fly open, and this family jumps out. And two boys go to the back and they grab out a bag that looks like a tent bag, and they're off setting up a tent. Mom and one of the daughters is out and they're putting up what looks to be a mesh tent. And then Dad and the little girl are out and they're getting firewood out. And we're watching this and I'm thinking, man, these people are proficient. So I look at my watch and this is like orchestrated. The two boys now have the tent almost up, so one's securing the stakes, the other one's blowing up air mattresses. Mom's got the tent up, they're putting a table in, and they've got the cook stove out. They're starting to carry totes that are full of food out, and Dad pretty much has the fire going. And I'm looking at my watch, and I'm like, man, this is highly impressive. These people should be teaching the Boy Scouts. And so they get done, and I look at my watch, 17 minutes. And these people, scatter, all except for Dad. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? My husband looks at me, and our eyebrows are kind of at our hairline. He goes, yeah, we got to go down. So we meander down the hill, and Dad's standing there, and we're like, wow, that was impressive. How do you do that? He kind of puffs up his chest, and he goes, I have a system. And just then, his wife walks up. And she is glaring. This guy would be dead if looks could kill. And then just as he sees her look at him, he kind of deflates and his shoulders roll in, and he says, no one can go use the restroom until the camp is set up. On Labor Day weekend, the boys have jet skis, and so they were out for a last run for the summer, and they see a fishing boat. And so, being noisy as my boys are, they went over to kind of hear this conversation because the DNR is pulling up. So they want to hear what the DNR's checking out with this guy. And he's in his boat, and they see that he has a bucket, but they can't really see what's in it. But all of a sudden, they hear the conversation. And the DNR officer is saying, so do you have a license for the fish that are in the bucket? And the guy looks at him and says, well, I don't need a license for these fish. And the DNR says, really? Why is that? And he said, well, because... he said, these are my pet fish. And DNR laughs and goes, that's horse hockey, I'm writing you up. And he goes, no, really, officer. We come out and we do this every day. The officer says, we we prove it. So the man dumps the bucket into the water and he says, so how are you going to get them back? And he goes, get what back? And the man goes, the fish. And he goes, what fish? And that's our stories from the lake.